Hi, my name is Karen Holmes. I'm the founder and director of the World Peace Organization for the One World Government. And this evening I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a way to overcome the resistance in Washington, D.C. It's gotten to the point now where, starting with President Obama's administration and now Biden's administration, the Republicans are just going to block everything, including Supreme Court nominations and things like that. The filibuster is a problem because how do you get to have like a 2/3 majority or a three-quarters majority for like the impeachment trial? How do you reach that point when the Republicans are blocking that? Anything that happens, starting like with the Merrick Garland confirmation hearing that never took place. Okay, so I wanted to share with you an idea that my guides told me about. And my guides are the past kings and queens and presidents in history, including the founding fathers of the United States, the people who wrote the Constitution. And I have a little bit of a different perspective of them because as a channel, I'm not just looking at history, I'm looking at from their perspective, I'm looking at where they are now and coming from that and where they have progressed to at this point in time. So this is an issue that they ran into also, and the way they solved it in their conventions was to debate it. They stormed the mountain. It's a technique, kind of like brainstorming, where they build on each other's ideas. You know, with brainstorming, you just kind of throw out the ideas and everybody kind of takes ideas and maybe runs with them and things like that. Storming the mountain is somebody comes up with an idea and then you build on it and you keep on building because everybody has input on it, just like in brainstorming, but when you build on it, you get the highest possible level. That's what they did with the Constitution. When they wrote that, they came up with the idea of the federal rights and the states' rights, but it wasn't until Patrick Henry stood up at the very end and said, what about individual rights? We have to include that, and that's how we ended up with the Bill of Rights and the rights that we have now that are so important to us. Okay. So all we have to do is to with our plan for world peace is the same idea. We're going to be storming the mountain with that too by joining the debate. I have experience with this in my life. We did a kind of an experiment with it at the prayer circle. One of the ladies, her project was the Healing Arts Center. And it was the land that she was interested in is very expensive, and none of us had any money. We had no idea how we were going to do it. But what happened was, with everybody in the prayer circle coming together and debating the idea and storming the mountain, we were able to come up with information that she never would have been able to come up with on her own because she really didn't have the money, and she was looking at a way to maybe have the land but not necessarily make it as nice as she wanted it or whatever. Basically, when everybody got together, we were all sharing what information we had, but then it was becoming more possible all the time, and then we were able to go into the planning process of it and look at that. The same thing happened with me when I was in college. We had I'm from Minneapolis, and one of the suburbs of Minneapolis, and I liked to ski when I was in college. And in Minneapolis, there are some ski areas within just a few miles down into the river valleys. We didn't have a lot of hills, It's pretty flat there, but we could go down into the river valleys. And one night when we were talking about, a group of us got together and we were talking, and we said, what about how much it would cost to go to Colorado and go skiing? So we instead of just talking about going the next day, we decided we were going to go to Colorado and see how much it would cost. And by the time we got done, well, we had the really wonderful trip to Colorado for just about $80 more than it would have cost us to go skiing 20 miles from where we lived. It was a remarkable trip. We had a great time. So if you come together with a group of people, the obstacles seem to melt away. You build on each other's ideas. Somebody throws an idea out, and then you build on it, and you take the idea higher and higher and higher, like they did with the Constitution. The Founding Fathers were not friends. They were delegates that had been chosen from their states, from the colony, and basically when they went there, they disagreed. In fact, not Patrick Henry, but Aaron Burr actually got into a duel with Alexander Hamilton, and Burr shot Hamilton and killed him. It was a shock to everybody that founding parents, the people who they had entrusted to be the delegates from their colonies, it was amazing that they would actually do that. Well, no, people did that in those days, and then they decided that it was kind of a foolish thing to do. So anyway, the idea of people getting along, they didn't get along in those days, and they blocked each other, and in fact that's why slavery ended up being not addressed until the Civil War, a long time, many years later. So if people can talk and come together and build on each other's ideas, then it raises the plan up to a higher level, and the result is something that everybody has an interest in, is part of the group, and basically is willing to go along with the idea because they did have a voice. When somebody comes up and says, this is how it's going to be, and you're going to vote for it, there's no reason for somebody to go along with that idea if that's something they don't like. But once they have a part in the creation of it, then they'll support the idea. So let's see what happens if in our plan for world peace, and if we can raise this up to a higher level, the highest level that we're capable of going. So that's what I'm asking you to do when I ask you to like, share, and subscribe, and most of all, share. But join the debate, be part of the creative process of it, and then instead of saying, I don't want this, just say, if you can come up with a better idea, then we'll do that. So what is your idea about this idea of this plan? Okay, so now I ask you to keep in touch with these videos. We haven't really gotten to the point yet where we can, where government, our plan is still in the potential state, because the idea has been, because there has been so much resistance to it. People haven't seen the potential of it, and they're blocking it because let's say Donald Trump would like to be president again, and he doesn't like the idea, so he's blocking that. But it's kind of at the point where it has to keep separating out and coming down to the idea of a movement, the world peace movement. Okay, so that's all I have for tonight. I ask you to like, share, and subscribe, and most of all, share. And if you can come up with a better plan, then we'll talk about that. Okay, thank you.